Hey folks, Michael Rosso here, Film Photography Podcast. Yes. I'm here in the room with Leslie Lazenby. Hi.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Owen McCafferty.
Moin.
Matt Marrash.
Hey, how's it going?
And we have an action-packed show. We're going to get right into it. What's hot and what's not?
6x7, too hot.
6x7.
Still too hot.
Okay.
Anything 6x7.
For folks at home, what is it? What is 6x7?
So, medium format,
Okay.
roll film.
Yes?
6x7 is 6 centimeters by 7 centimeters, so of course medium format. They all take the same film, but the size is dictated by the camera body on there. In the influencer sphere, the YouTube, Instagram, now it's kind of bleeding its way over to TikTok. Actually, I see more 35 on TikTok. That's a different story. But 6x7, the story continues. It's never been more popular. It started with Pentax 6x7. Then it kind of made its way. People kind of picked up on the Mamiya 7 being just like a cult travel and compact rangefinder camera. And now it is the popularity of those two has ballooned the price of your Mamiya RZ67, the Pro and the Pro 2. And now even the RBs, that boat anchor, even that is fetching crazy record for the last 10 years type of prices. So really anything 6x7, a lot of folks jumping right into it because they see their favorite film photographer using one, influencing which types of cameras that get kind of popularized. And I noticed this from the time in retail at Midwest Photo, but really it's just 6x7 is like the thing that's persisted. So every time we talk about hot or not, it's always some type of 6x7, but like it's still that way after all these years. And I can't pin it down to a particular camera, but I would say the one that is all time is probably the Pentax 6x7 with the RZ Pro 2 in a close second place, which doesn't make sense. RZ Pro 2s were meant to be the affordable option, and now these kits are going for more than Hasselblad kits.
When did this transition happen to them being hot?
The RB hasn't been hot for long, but I think it's because of the last 2 years of RZs getting bought up that people are like looking for cheaper alternatives, but too many people looking for the same cheaper alternative inevitably drives the price, just like you've seen in point and shoots.
Yes.
And in the younger crowd, nothing's changing in terms of like people going from 35 to 120, but it's just happening faster. So like imagine how quickly would you have jumped to medium format mic if you had access at your fingertips and people showing you how cool photos they were taking when you were in college, right? You would have had a medium format camera instantly, right?
Yes.
So it's the same thing.
There was no influence. There's
nobody showing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to buy the book and go to the class, and you're like, eh. But what I find like most fascinating about it is the what's hot, what's not depends on who's watching it and what they're watching it on. So if you're watching on Instagram, you're going to get a really, really nice camera. You're probably going to get a Mamiya 7 or a Plabel Machina or something really neat and niche. But if you go on YouTube, you're going to get something that's like user or like a Mamiya 6x7 or a Pentax. You're watching this on TikTok, you might end up with a really cool 35 that somebody got at a car boot sale. So really, really kind of interesting stuff. The platform is kind of dictating what's hot, what's not.
It's an interesting. I never would have thought about that.
Well, do you want to do like hot and cold, like go like from hot to like what's not, and then go back to hot again?
Yeah, let's do some knots. Because we've been too hot for too long.
Not here in Cleveland.
No, it's hot in Cleveland.
Speaking of 6x6, Hasselblad, not. Prices have remained relatively flat over the last few years.
What's the 500 going for?
Hasselblad, like a C or CM?
Like a C.
Like a C are still under 1,000 with a lens in the back.
That's good.
CMs are between 12 and 15, so relatively stable, I would say.
Because the Hasselblad, as I mentioned to you the other day, Hasselblad Dig is on fire.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
Like there's so many YouTube videos about the Hasselblad.
But that's like tens of thousands, right?
No, they're like 6 or 7 for the body. So by the time you're kitted out, you could be 11 or 12, but you can get a good setup for under 10, and that's because Fujifilm is using the same Sony sensors as they are and chugging out a camera that's 4,000.
Folks are talking about Hasselblad Dig for a split second. So the sensors are crazy great, right?
They're all right.
Where's there a bigger sensor?
Good point, Mike. You can't get a bigger sensor until you start paying way, way, way more. So what's happening is Sony is making chips that are 33 millimeters by 44 millimeters. So I don't even like to think of it as medium format because it's still smaller than 645. It's like super full frame. It's like a little bit bigger than full frame. So you can't get a full 645 type CMOS sensor until you go up to like a phase or like a really high-end Hasselblad, like an H6D. But now those C's are parting. So it used to be all medium format digital cameras were 30, 40,000. Now you only have to pay that much if you're if you're doing phase or Hasselblad. But with those newer Sony sensors, bigger wafers are expensive to produce.
Wafers.
These smaller wafers,
Vanilla?
unfortunately not. The smaller chips on there are cheaper to produce. So those 33 by 44s are what Sony's putting into, or Fuji's buying them, Fujifilm's buying them, Hasselblad's buying them, and they're throwing them into these different camera bodies and adding their own secret sauce.
So if you're a professional, let's say professional fashion photographer,
They're all over the GFX and the H1 or X1D.
I mean, you want to be seen with the Hassie. It's attractive. It looks like the film version, right?
They have one that looks like the film
Yes.
version. That one's a little bit more expensive. The one that is really getting everybody's attention is like the sleeker, like one with the touchscreen back. It's the X1D Mark II, but they're really sleek.
I think we've triggered a lot of people by talking about digital.
So, okay, very good point, Owen. Thank you very much. So now is the time to get yourself a Hasselblad film camera.
I would say this is, if you see 2 to 3 years of a camera that holds value and lasts this long, staying stable, jump on it. And Hasselblad has been that way for a while. Yeah.
So does Midwest Photo or KEH right now, do you think they have them in stock?
I know for a fact Midwest has over a dozen in stock.
Over a dozen? So is there a deal to be had?
I don't know. Go talk to the...
Just mention Matt's name.
You got any pull over there?
I got a little bit of pull.
Folks listening at home, I'm talking about pull for me.
Yeah, no, we'll get to
Mike, would you shoot a Hasselblad?
Yes, I would.
Have you had one?
Yes, I would. Although, I love my Mamiya M645. Is that hot or not, Matt?
645s, those are still my recommend for medium format because they've not gotten into that hot territory. There's certain lenses that are that 81.9, but for the most part, the bodies themselves are in the not category. I think the other thing that might be contributing to Hasselblad, which I do want folks to know about, is repairs on these are really backed up. You know, there's very few places that are Hasselblad authorized, very few folks alive that are Hasselblad, trained and all that.
Doesn't KEH pre-test all their cameras? They used to, I thought, maybe?
That's a big question mark.
Okay.
I'm not sure on that one. Okay. I did talk to Britta from KEH when I was at Joshua Tree, but I think the scale of the operation has changed considerably over the past few years.
Up?
Huge.
Is that right?
Huge facility. Yeah.
Okay. And are they in the market for purchasing a film photography podcast and associated store?
They could use the hype.
What?
They could use the hype.
Okay. So a shout out to our good friends at Roberts. They have Pro Photo, right?
Oh, Used Photo Pro.
Photo Pro. So
awesome.
So would you say Used Photo Pro is at the same level as like a Midwest as far as size?
Oh no, they're bigger. So
They're
Midwest
bigger.
is like Midwest. If you're listening, I love you, but they're going after like Midwest is trying to be what Used Photo Pro is. So like I would say in order of like qualified places to buy used gear from in the U.S. You don't want to think about it. You just want to like get a good price and get a good warranty. KEH, Used Photo Pro, everybody else.
Do people know about Used Photo Pro?
I try to tell as many people about them as possible because if they're looking for parts and KEH doesn't have it, they usually have a good selection. Some places, they just don't have the amount of people, like Midwest. We used to have parts, but it was because less people were asking. Now, there's a ton of people asking. If you don't have somebody dedicated to it, it's no chance.
Used Photo Pro, you're saying, is like number 2, and KEH is like the buzzword. Everyone knows KEH.
They are I would say they are almost a household name in like film photography.
Wow.
Because they deal in dig, but they also like really not specialized, but they put a lot of attention towards the film cameras and really reliable stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Are we still on What's Not? What's Not Hot?
Oh, what's not? Mike, I was actually going to ask you about this. I feel like we're scraping the barrel on 35. Like, there's nothing sacred anymore. Every point and shoot's like the stuff that was $5, everything's $100 now. The only thing I think I've seen that's reasonably priced is like the ultra wide and slim.
Oh, because it was $40 before the new version came out, but maybe
Yeah.
more. Maybe it was more. The Vivitar ultra wide and slim,
Yeah, but
and
they're
the
still
superheads.
Yeah, I still think those are a fun little recommend for folks. But
That's my top point and shoot recommend.
all the stuff that I used to recommend, I could recommend in good faith because it was under $150. But none of those now. They're all astronomical. Even the XAs.
You know, you couldn't sell a point and shoot that had a zoom lens on it.
No.
Yeah, now
If you
they're
got $5
that's what
for
they
it,
want.
you ran. And now it's just like,
Leslie,
Didn't Trev have one last show?
guacamole,
yeah,
Yeah, he had the Minolta.
with him.
Oh, he had a
The
Minolta.
Freedom 10
Even they're hot.
150.
Yes.
150. Is that? Yeah, he said he said you'd be lucky to get like 100.
All
Like
right,
on
I'm
the
just
low
gonna
end.
I'm gonna scroll through TikTok and I'm gonna flash the screen
Ticky-tacky.
every time a point and shoot film camera comes up.
When point and shoot is sold in the FPP online store, used of course, it's posted always at the rock bottom eBay price. So let's say a Olympus Stylus 170. It's gone in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't even know how people like. Are there apps when people know stuff's really?
They'll scrape descriptions. They'll also scrape. Yeah, so you got people watching it.
Yeah, so it's like ding, and like one guy will buy like everything, which I try to avoid.
What's his name? Name names, Mike.
I'm not, I don't really bear down too hard on people buying film cameras. Like if he's going to buy it and resell it, then whatever.
Right.
It's like
The film, that's a different story, right? Somebody tries to buy more film than they're allowed.
Well, when
no
someone
film for you.
Yes, I actually have a graphic that I sent to Justin. It's the soup Nazi from Seinfeld, and it says no film for you.
Very good. Very good. You know something? No soup for you! Come back 1 year. Next!
When someone tries to buy 100 rolls of film, that's for reselling,
Resell.
and some of it's going to all the places I know that are ports that are making them gray market products. So, going Florida, going to Oregon,
Yep.
and I just don't have the patience for it. Like it'll clean us. Like we would have no film anytime. So, folks listening at home, FPP on the hotter films like Portrait 400, there are maximums. Like you can only buy 2 rolls at a time when we're in such short supply. And the reason is, I want all of you out there who are shooting to be able to get a hold of the film, to actually shoot in your camera, not buy from FPP and then flip it on Amazon, because you can almost double your price on Amazon. But that's evil.
No soup for you!
Devolve into large format stuff, but this is again the influencer thing. Chamonix cameras, they're too hot.
Really?
What is
Too
it?
hot.
Sorry, what is it?
Chamonix.
Chamonix,
Were they hot a few years ago? No.
What
a little bit, but now they're super hot. Chinese made 4x5.
Okay.
Large format. They're too hot, Mike. Everybody's got Chamonix is so back ordered because of the Filmosphere that their
Filmosphere.
their 4x5 cameras are built out for the year. Like they're not making any more this year. So everything's like a la carte with large format. You buy the body. That's it. They start slightly over 1,000, like 1,200.
Okay.
And
That's good for a brand new large format. That's a good price.
yeah, it's great. I mean, these cameras are so the way I used to talk about this a little bit differently, Mike. I'm not guilty, or I'm not as innocent as someone say, I gave everything a fair chance. Like, the connotation was, it was a cheaply manufactured, but really these cameras are designed to last lifetimes. So even a cheap knockoff, which these are not cheap by any means, will easily last your entire shooting life.
Wow.
Unless you,
For under 1,000.
yeah,
If you treat your camera right, you could have that camera with you your entire life.
absolutely. No questions asked.
What is the? And I'm personally guilty of owning too many cameras. I mean, even large format cameras, I own too many. I own the Razzle. I own
that's a hot one.
the Crown Graphic. I own the Vista. Does anyone know about the Razzle?
No.
Very few. It was such a no. It was so niche.
Was it the 3D printed one?
No. The Razzle is a old Polaroid converted into a 4x5 rangefinder.
Wait, like a Polaroid, like a
The
one step, not the
900
one step.
No. The bellows type.
Yeah.
Got it. Like
or
101.
a 45A.
No, back further than
Oh,
that.
95Bs.
Yes.
This is a 4x5 street camera. And if folks even knew about it, it would be so hot, I think.
Do you know who makes one, or used to make one that was just like the Razzle?
Oh,
Chamonix Sabre.
no kidding. How many were made?
Dun, dun.
I don't know. I know Brunges has one.
Okay. Does he really?
But yeah,
Joe.
Joe. But they're really, really hot. Are they worth the hype? They're nice.
Back to Chamonix?
They're very nice cameras. There are also 10 other brands that are very nice cameras.
What does like the Wista I own? Like if you want like a Wista with 2 lenses, let's say, what would that run you? Because I'm guessing it's not hot.
10, 11 hunch. Wistas are still 600-700 all day long. Really, really nice ones can fetch closer to 1,000, but I will always urge folks, and this is so folks at home, you can't see the table, so I've got my Hasselblad here, I've got my Dig, I've got the Graflex. I have never, except for film, purchased anything large format brand new. Don't buy stuff new. You don't have to. There's so much out there.
Right.
And I would always recommend when you're really, really jonesing for this stuff, see if you can like go to a meetup and check it out. See if you'll even like really, really like it. Renting is not feasible unless you have a great place like Roberts or Midwest Photo, like really close where you can rent something out or take a workshop. But don't just buy it because you saw somebody with it. See if ask yourself those questions like why do they like go for the why, not for the this camera. Because chances are it's not just the camera. A lot of times it's going to be the lens, all the years behind it.
Are people buying too many cameras? The whole thing of
we wouldn't have a podcast.
I mean, well, I mean, back when I was a kid, I owned my Canon AE1, and I didn't know. First of all, I didn't have any money, so that was my camera, and I would ask Santa Claus for things like, can I have a zoom lens? Can I have a wide angle? Can I have a flash for this camera? So it was always building upon that camera that I knew and shot with every day.
You kit it out. Yeah.
As opposed to, are people today guilty of buying too much gear and never getting used to one camera?
Absolutely.
I would say so. Yes.
I know I'm guilty of it.
Yeah.
And are they flipping it and then getting something else?
Yes. Trading.
There's a lot of revolving door that I think happens in it. But everybody gets into film and other aspects of photography. That's the best part. You can get into it for whatever. So some folks do like that aspect of it. They have the camera that suits this mood, this need. On the hot side of things.
Yes.
Do you remember a couple episodes back, Trev had that really, really, really snazzy FM3A?
Yes.
Now, there's admittedly not as many of those out in the wild as my all-time recommend. Leslie?
I've got one. Might be hitting the block.
Ooh.
Wow.
FM2s. I think those are hot now.
Got one of those.
I think
don't
those
know.
are
That might
on
be
the
a
up.
keeper.
I think that's a keeper. I recommend that when someone says, all right, I don't want a K1000 because they want more lenses, yada, yada. The FM2 is my go-to recommend.
It's actually one of the few cameras that I purchased brand new. I modified it right away, but I purchased it brand new.
FM3A.
Yes.
Does that A specify something special?
It does.
Oh.
A usually meant anniversary, but I think in that model it doesn't mean anniversary. It means something else. Nikon always had these weird exceptions. Whenever something happened Nikon at Midwest Photo, I would always go, and you folks at home, you can do this too. Ask Casey. Casey is the used equipment manager. I'm putting him on blast here on the podcast. He is the Nikon guy. If a funky Nikon thing came in, so him and Trev would just like instant brothers. Yeah. So the answer is I have no idea.
And how about not hot? Nikon F.
Oh, the original F. Those are just left. When you clean up a bunch of kids' toys, and there's always that weird Lego. You're like, where the hell's this from? That's the Nikon F.
Okay.
They're good if there's any issue at all. Strip them down, sell the parts.
Oh,
Parts do well.
Okay.
makes sense. But yeah, they are.
But I
they're
wouldn't
just
do that
bricks.
to a working model if it's just like
You need a camera, and students
Beyond, yeah.
It's a tough sell to students because they're going to use the older pre-AI glass. So Nikon had all those. The F mount is the umbrella, but for different generations of camera, you'd have to have those different Nikon lenses. And we'll have to consult the mark for more Nikon knowledge on that. But yeah, the non-AI lenses kind of put you down a path where you're only looking for vintage stuff,
Right.
and no
I should
no
put
chance
mine
of going
on the
forward.
market on there too.
Yeah.
I got to clean
Nikon
house.
Fs are come and get it variety. So yeah.
And I'm guessing your K1000 Pentax and your Canon AE1 still on the hot list?
Oh my God, they're never going to leave the hot list. Mike, did I tell you this? So I knew film had reached the new generation entirely when I was at Family Christmas. This was on my dad's side of the family. the farmer, and my cousin. So he's I don't know. I think he's like 18 or 19 now. He came up to me. He's like, "Hey, I heard you're really into like film photography. What do you think about this camera?" And he had it in his cart. He almost bought an AE1 off of Etsy. Guess how much he was ready to pay for an AE1 that was untested on Etsy?
Oh wait, hold on.
$180.
$300.
$180.
Close.
500.
$398.
Wow.
Cameras
Was at least tested?
Untested.
But he was ready to buy it.
He was ready to go. He was like, "What do you think of this camera?"
Somebody
and
behind
I
him
smacked
ready to
the
buy
phone
it.
out of his hand. Like, stop. Just stop.
You're not my cousin anymore.
Yeah, just stop. This is the camera. Yes, this is a camera. Let me find you one. Do not pay that much money, please.
Did you find him one?
Absolutely. It's already got it. It's got some film.
AE1, not the P?
He has a non-P.
Non-P.
And then I sent him some FPP film. I think he has some Frankenstein and some Derev pan,
Nice.
so he's good to go. You know, and the thing is, I sent him the FPP film. I don't think he shot too much of it because
No buzz.
the people he follows don't shoot it.
Oh.
Don't shoot what?
Frankenstein.
Don't shoot Frankenstein or Derev pan. So
Losers.
we need to campaign this stuff.
Oh, so he needs some HP. Well, like, I need some HP5.
All he asked about was HP5
And Portra 400.
Portra. Yes, it is a meme, but like it's a self-reinforcing meme. You know, like it really is true. So at least he's into it. He'll always like.
Does he buy from the FPP online store?
I did send him links to the FP, so he does buy it from there.
Okay.
Yeah. Anden is his name.
ANDEN.
Yeah.
It's hot. Coffee's hot.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, and so like that's the thing with 35s. I feel like we are like there's gonna be nothing on the not list in 6 months because all
Eric, you're saying
for Minolta.
You're saying everything's going to be hot.
everything's hot on in 35 just because there's so much demand.
I don't know. Are you saying, Owen, that you don't think the Minolta X700 is a hot camera?
No, I think that is.
It's not hot like K1000.
No, I mean I just think Minoltas in general are not hot.
The Minolta,
and I am a Minolta
the
shooter.
Minolta Freedom Zooms are way hot.
Yeah, but I'm talking like SRT 101s, SRT 102s,
Oh, no,
202s.
They still hold their own pretty
Minolta
well.
gang is hanging in there pretty well.
I mean, you can get. I just bought a spare
smells
101
Yeah. Well, wow.
body.
Yeah.
I mean, practically mint condition. I think it was
It's-
$69.99 on eBay.
She don't want a blue goodness.
Still good.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Okay.
I might hit that up because I'm.
I did the coffee because it's freezing in here.
It is not, and I'm down a quart, so I should drink more.
Anything else on what's hot, what's not that
No,
we missed?
I think we've ranted long enough. But
Okay,
it's,
good.
126.
127.
Listen.
127.
127 is represented by the Raripan.
Yeah,
But 126, we have none.
Nothing.
nothing.
It's all up to the Italians. Come on, Italians. Don't you got people over there?
I do have people over
Send
there.
some people to Ferrania and be like,
I
hey,
had-
give us our
I
126.
had people there 17,000 years
Go
ago.
over there and slap that 120 out of their hands.
Do Jersey style. Come on, give it to us Jersey. What would you say?
I'd be like,
Look, motherfucker,
fuck this 120.
this 35 millimeter. No one cares. 126, be king of the world.
That's right, yeah. Yeah.
No one. It's almost like no one knows what 126 is,
Yep.
so they don't understand how many millions of cameras are out there. Anyone that produces it has it by the market.
Yeah.
All right, so we're done with what's hot, what's not. When we come back, how about we turn the floor over to Owen, since you've been left out of every conversation in the last few shows.
It's typical.
What are we going to talk about with you?
We're going to talk about Gary's camera.
All right, you're going to make it quick, right?
Left you out, but make sure you do it quick because
Oh.
nobody wants to hear
Let's
your
just talk
stupid
about
voice.
Gary's camera then.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make it quick so you don't have to
All
listen
right,
to it.
we'll be back.